Hello, happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday.
I hope you have all slept off your Thanksgiving meal. I know it took me a couple days to recover from mine. Um, it's great to see you. It's great to
Yeah.
see all of you. We're going to check in because we already have some folks hanging out in the chat to say hello to, starting with our friend Vince Lamb, wishing everyone a happy Cyber Monday and National Mutt Day.
Oh.
Mutt, I assume as in mixed breed dogs and not Mutt and Jeff, the old cartoon characters that no one under the age of 70 remembers.
Or mutton chops. I don't
Mutton,
know.
mutton. Yeah, that could be too. Uh, in Derek Ho's corner, we've got Blossom and Michelangelo. Hello, folks. And hello, we've got Ryan Jones checking in,
Hello.
saying hello to the Disney family. Disney and other theme parks, of course. We don't want to. We embrace all parks, all attractions in our family.
All the parks.
I did not go to a theme park for the holidays. We'll talk in just a minute about what we did do. I personally avoided it.
I don't blame you.
Before we jump into our recording, one more friend dropping in the chat, Brian Sager, who is finally heading back to Walt Disney World for his
Yay.
birthday weekend on December 10th. Happy birthday. A makeup trip from Hurricane Milton. Enjoy your trip. Say hello to the Magic Kingdom for me and enjoy your stay at Pop Century.
So fun.
All right. Well, we've got quite a few people already in the chat, so why don't we kick this thing off in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I am Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. Carly, want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving or a Native American Remembrance Day. What did you do with your holiday weekend?
Yes, so I basically lounged around a lot. I left the house once, and it was to go to Winterfest at Carowinds, which I hadn't gotten a chance to do yet.
Fantastic. How was it?
So magical. It is just, it's so festive, and it's like we go to these ticketed, paid events all over the country. And this feels like that, and then some, but it's included in your regular ticket. There's so much live entertainment. And just that, coupled with like the festive nature, the music, there's roaming, like elves, that makes all the difference in an event. And I feel like it's such a simple thing, but not other places have it. And that was my complaint about Jollywood Nights last year, is like you'd enter a dead zone with like no music playing, and it's just a little thing like street performers walking around that makes you feel like, I just felt so festive. I didn't go on any rides. I didn't eat any food. I just hopped from show to show at Winterfest, and it was lovely.
That sounds fantastic. It's funny you mentioned Jollywood. I've got some friends in town that we had dinner with last night, and they came into town to do Jollywood. And they said it seemed improved over last year in terms of the entertainment, live entertainment. So important. We've been talking about the Festival of the Holidays at Epcot, and that's one of my favorite times in the parks because they have so much live entertainment, the storytellers in each of the land. It really makes a big difference. I avoided going to any theme parks, but I did have some family in town, and we took them to a local event called Dazzling Nights over at the Lou Gardens, downtown Orlando. If you remember the old Osborne lights at Disney's MGM Studios, if you could combine that with the Villains Grove walkthrough at California Adventure, it's a 2-mile outdoor trail through a botanical gardens, and they put huge lighting displays, various different themes. Anything holiday related you can imagine. They've got some huge light display for it, and it takes over an hour to walk through the whole thing. And it's charming. It's beautiful. They had some great live entertainment. Went for a media night, and we went back and brought our family. My only touring advice is, if you do choose to go, if you're visiting Orlando, arrive real early, because the wait, they have off-site parking because there's very limited on-site parking, and the wait for the shuttle bus to get from parking to the actual event was almost an hour and a half. So plan ahead.
Boy.
I gotta say, it was worth the wait, but it was a wait. So
Wow. So I guess maybe bring a little like eggnog, and maybe
yes,
make it in
absolutely.
your coffee cup.
You might,
and just
yeah,
hang around.
pre-game with the eggnog ahead of time. Absolutely. But it was great seeing friends and family for Thanksgiving and having a little break from the theme parks. But I think now it's time to get back to talking about theme parks.
Yes.
So without any further ado, let's jump into our news in the queue. We are going to start off across the pond in France, where one of Western civilization's greatest cultural treasures is finally being restored. And of course, we've got to celebrate that with Disney, right?
Yes. Of course.
The Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, 5 long years after it suffered a devastating fire, finally reopening in December, and it's being celebrated with a limited time Hunchback of Notre Dame projection show at Disneyland Paris.
Very fitting.
Head on over to see the real cathedral, and then head to Disneyland Paris to see this fireworks and projections spectacular, which will be a special pre-show before Disney Illuminations, taking place from December 5th through the 14th of this year.
Super limited, but they've been stepping up their nighttime game, as we have talked in the past. Started with the 30th of the drones, and now the show going on, and the new one coming in March. So I am not surprised by this. I am just very jealous, because that is one of my favorite Disney movies, and I would love to see this.
And they if you want to see the cathedral, as you mentioned, they have been big with drones over at Disneyland Paris, and it looks like in the show they will be recreating the iconic towers of the cathedral with drones. It's going to be something to see, but maybe not quite as spectacular as seeing the actual Notre Dame Cathedral, which is officially reopening on December 8th after 5 years of restoration done by 1,200 artists. And that site hosts 13 million visitors annually when fully restored.
Yes, so I'm very excited. I have seen it before the fire, and I've seen it since we're kind of all boarded up, and it's really sad, because it is definitely just like a breathtaking building facility. So I'm happy that it's back and others can enjoy it for years to come, and fingers crossed, no more incidences.
Yeah. And if you can't make a trip over to Paris in person, if you've got Disney Plus, you can actually watch a professional recording of the Disney Illuminations show that this will be a pre-show for right now from your own living room.
Yes.
Next up, a little closer to home, Disney's Lakeshore Lodge is going to open in 2027 on the former site of River Country near the Fort Wilderness Campground at Walt Disney World. And if you're getting a sense of deja vu, it's because this was originally supposed to be the site of Reflections, which was announced way back before the pandemic and canceled. No good idea at Disney ever dies permanently. It just comes back with a slightly different name.
Well, especially not one with such prime real estate.
Yes.
Like, 10 out of 10.
In case you are too young to remember, I'm sure for a lot of listeners, the original River Country, which was Walt Disney World's first water park, closed maybe before you were even born. It's, I remember swimming there in the 80s,
Oh
until
yeah,
the
and doing that little
brain
rope swing.
the
Yeah.
rope swing. They had a water slide that just kind of dropped you off 10 feet above the water, and the coolest inner tube kind of river slides that I can remember as a kid. Loved that place.
Same,
The
yeah.
close
My parents were really into it, so luckily we got to go often because I don't think if I
uh,
went more than once, I might have like such memories. But
yeah.
it was just a magical place, and it's something like we'll never see again because water
uh,
parks today are so like polished. This was not
the
it.
the closest I had to that growing up in New Jersey was Action Park.
Oh
Had
God,
the roaring rapids, or whatever they called a section with like cliff dives and really dangerous water
very
slides that
dangerous. I've
all
seen the
all looked like it
documentary.
was carved out of the rock. The Disney version was a lot safer, as long as we don't talk about the brain eating parasites, the
Oh,
amoebas that would go in through your nose and
I
chew
maybe
on
that's
your brain.
why we are the way we are, is we swam in that lake
Quite
water.
possible. That is very possible. But it's been decades since the river country was closed. Urban explorers used to like to break in there, so they eventually just bulldozed the whole thing, and it was supposed to become something called Reflections. And actually, our publisher, Matt, got to go out and do an Imagineering tour back in 2019, back in the olden days before COVID, and got a tour of Imagineering where they talked about the plans for this Reflections concept. And back then, Matt said that the plans were, quote, unlike anything you've ever seen, if the best parts don't get cut. And that's always a big if with Disney Imagineering. I don't think we have seen new concept art. So when it does come out, we'll have to compare it to the old concept art of what Reflections was supposed to be. But it looks like the footprint is at least going to be the same, because they cleared that land quite a while ago. I can remember when we were out there for the Hoop-de-Doo review reopening and seeing just like this ugly kind of area of construction fence and dirt, because it's very close. If you look at these aerial photographs we have from our friend BioReconstruct, you can see just how close this area is to the Circle D Ranch where the
Mhm.
horses are kept, and also the Hoop-de-Doo Review, the Pioneer Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was also where Mickey's Backyard Barbecue was. So if you're
Yes.
familiar with that whole area, I mean, it's right there. It's going to be really, I'm very curious when construction does start, because it seems like there's going to be a lot of backstage movement, but really the only backstage road is that one that connects the Fort Wilderness to Wilderness Lodge. And that's
Hmm.
right where the ranch is. So I feel like you're going to see a lot, maybe
Yeah.
more so than we would with another project.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't disturb the horses too much, because
Oh,
there's going to be
yeah.
a lot of big earth moving equipment coming in here, I think. So we have, as I mentioned, photographs of the construction starting. You can get a good idea of the layout, and we've also got a little bit of information on the history of River Country, which, as we said, opened back in 1976 and sadly closed in 2001. We'll be keeping an eye on this project and giving you updates all the way through its planned 2027 opening.
Yes, when they start building it, we gotta do one of those fishing boats so we can get them right
Oh,
up close to it so we can see
oh,
what's
yes.
going on. Some investigative
All
reporting.
right. You'll do the fishing and I'll do the photography.
Yes, I will.
In other Disney news, our reporter, John Self, very bravely headed on over to the 2024 Epcot International Festival of the Holidays on opening day and tried every single new food option available for this year's festival, and came back with a report on what the best stuff and the not so best stuff is for you to try from the holiday booths this year at the event, which is running through December 30th.
Yes, this is my favorite festival at Epcot. It's so quaint. The weather's better. There's such a
Mhm.
good variety of savory and sweet foods. But this year, I'm definitely most excited, and I'll be heading first when I go this weekend to Communicore Hall to see that
Okay.
giant gingerbread display that does the lights on it.
Yeah. The Disney's famous for the hotels having these great gingerbread house displays, like at the Grand Floridian, but this time they've using the new Communicore Hall to house this amazing spaceship Earth display. It's a replica of the iconic attraction at the front of the park, and it's even got the beacons of light bulbs around it, so it can glow and light up periodically. It looks good enough to eat, and actually, you
Uh,
can eat it because those little triangular tiles that make up the ball are available for sale. They're
but
coated in
should we eat it? That's
yes.
the age-old question.
Well, that's the
What I'm
question.
hearing is
So our reporter John Self did try that along with everything else new, and he kind of puts the gingerbread tiles on his naughty list. He does not have as a recommendation. First of all, it is $10 for a rather slender triangle of gingerbread.
yeah.
And he did not feel that the chocolate and white coating paired well with the gingerbread because the gingerbread was just too dense. It's a tricky thing. Maybe if you like really dense gingerbread, give it a try.
Yeah, I
But
definitely get what they were going for with this,
yeah,
but I hate to say it, I don't think it even looks good. It kind of looks like, do you know when you make, I mean, I don't bake, but like, you know, when people make cookies and there's one that's like the runt of the bunch that didn't maybe turn into like the pumpkin shape and it's just like an excess piece? That's
yeah.
kind of what I thought it looked like when I've been seeing
I,
photos.
Yeah, it does. I mean, honestly, to me, it looks like it would be better off as building materials than as a
Yeah,
snack. But
maybe it's great to build a gingerbread house because I usually fail at those.
but even if you just want to look at the gingerbread spaceship Earth
Yes.
and not eat it, there are some other options that John does recommend. Um, Included on the nice list for him, his top picks are included the empanada de pollo, which is a chicken empanada at the Mexico Holiday Kitchen. He really liked the mix of flavors on that one. Also said that if you like mole sauce, which I do, you
Mhm.
might like the pork tamale that they are serving at that same kitchen.
Yes, and I love always the Mexico booths. Usually their new dishes are pretty
Hmm.
standout. The empanada was my number one new thing that I can't wait to try. So I am so happy that everyone has been giving it rave reviews. It has chicken and potatoes inside, which sounds like
Hmm.
it's going to be like nice and filling, good for your money's worth. So I'm definitely excited that. And then also the XO fried rice from the Shanghai
Yeah,
was my other one, which sounds simple, but everyone is freaking out over it. It looks so good.
I would not necessarily think that I'd want to spend $9.75 for a tiny bowl of fried rice. I can go to my local Chinese takeout and get a whole quart
Right.
for less
Or
than that.
half, yeah.
But the seasoning, the Shanghai flavors, the chili apparently has a little bit more kick than we're used to from
Good, yes.
Disney, and the Chinese sausage all seems to pair really well. Hearing good reports about that, even though it's almost $10, people are saying that it is one of the best picks this year.
Yay.
Um, he also gives honorable mention to the gingerbread funnel cake over by American Adventure, as well as the coffee mocha cookie over at the Mele Kalikimaka Holiday Kitchen.
Yes,
And
the
that one's
Snoop
only
cookie looks really good.
325. That cookie's only 325. That sounds
Wow.
like a much better bargain to me than a $10 gingerbread tile.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And uh, apparently, on the not so recommended list,
Woo!
the Italy
Oh, shocker.
maintains its proud tradition of being the least appealing booth at any Epcot Food Festival. Panettone, which is that like the Italian equivalent of fruitcake, like it's that holiday cake with the kind of candied fruit and stuff in it. Never my favorite, but they've managed apparently to make it even worse by turning it into a tiny little bread pudding for
It's
$7.
so tiny. It's so tiny.
So I'll probably be skipping on that one. If none of these new ones appeal to you, there are of course some favorites from the past. I always say you can't go wrong with kielbasa and pierogies, and you can find that over at the Communicore Hall, along with the barbecue pork rinds and the key lime tart. And some other classics like the American holiday table slow roasted turkey and blackened catfish. They've also come back. So
Oh yes, I
go
love that
grab some cheese
turkey.
fondue from
Oh
Bavaria.
yes,
Yeah.
so good, cozy, and also the turkey poutine returned this year, which was one of the best things I had at any part of festival last year.
Yeah.
It was also a massive portion, very shareable, full meal, so good. So I'm really happy that's back, and I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, it's a lot of delicious stuff to try between now and December 30th. And don't forget to grab that passport at the front if you are going sweet, because if you get 5 of those cookie stroll stamps, you get a free cookie. And who doesn't love a free cookie?
Yes, yeah, that's a great, and you get. I think it's like a gingerbread decorating kit or something they give with you. I saw some photos of it
Yeah.
as the souvenir. So that it's always fun to do. I'm not really a huge sweets person, but I did do the cookie stroll last year to do it, and it was actually really fun and felt rewarding.
Well, if you are not a huge sweets person, you might have a little trouble this year over at Universal Orlando. They
No.
also are doing the holidays. They also have food. And our friend John Self also went there to try everything that was new. But he reports there's not a lot of savory. It looks like it is sweet, sweet, sweet this year, and Universal has pulled back a little on some of the savory offerings.
I know, this made me so sad. I have loved in recent years the evolution of food festivals at Universal, at Mardi
Mhm.
Gras, at HHN, and at Universal Holiday Celebration in the past. You had all those kiosks with pressed sandwiches, a lot of nice, savory, warm items. And that is not the case this year. And I am bummed out.
Yeah. There are a few, but they are kind of far between. They're definitely focusing on the cookies, the milkshakes, the desserts this year. Maybe, with Epic coming up, maybe the food and beverage team is just stretched a little thin. They did some great stuff for Halloween. I'm sure they'll have some great stuff coming up for Mardi Gras. Maybe they decided they all need to take their vacation hours now because they're not going to be able to until
You
May.
know what? We forgive you because there's a cinnamon bread in our
Uh-huh.
future next year. So
Okay,
all
yes.
is forgiven.
Yes. So there are some fun options that John recommends, starting with the new roasted turkey crepe over at Central Park Crepes. Central Park Crepes has like become one of those kind of sleeper hit places that a lot of buzz every time they get in a new crepe. They've had Thanksgiving crepes that usually just hang around for a couple of weeks in November, but this year there's a roasted turkey holiday crepe that's going to run all the way through the holiday season. It's $13.99 and it includes bread stuffing, sage gravy, bourbon cranberry sauce, which can I just get a side of that?
Yes,
Uh,
I want
a-
that.
and brie cheese. Also, apparently has a hint of mushroom flavor in there too. Sounds like
Ooh.
a nice combination. So if you are looking for savory, John says that is your best bet over at Universal.
Yes, and they are quite filling. So for that price point, it's a nice little hearty lunch without,
Mhm.
killing it on like a $20 quick service restaurant meal.
And then if you want something that is
Ooh.
tasty and Instagrammable, I think the most visually appealing option this year is the new gingerbread cookie over at DreamWorks Imagination Cafe. Of course, it is a replica of the Shrek character. I do have a word of warning, though, coming from my friends at the Universal Orlando Vegans group. Apparently, even though the original menus that were printed up for this said this was a vegan option, apparently it is not. Traditional gingerbread is usually made vegan, but
Mhm.
apparently this is not It's just kind of a cookie with ginger flavor as opposed to strictly a gingerbread. And also those the gumdrop buttons on him are not actually gumdrops. I think they're chocolate candies. So it might not be exactly what you are expecting it to be. But John says it's pretty tasty. And he only got charged $3.79 before discounts for it. So if that is the correct price, the description reads $5, but apparently he got charged twice the lower price. So run on over now and stock up on your gingerbread cookies before.
Yes, and he's just so cute. It's okay.
He is adorable. Yeah, even if you don't eat the whole thing, I mean, at least bite his legs off.
Oh yeah.
Other honorable mentions on Universal Orlando's holiday menu include an ugly sweater shake over at Toothsome, an $18 milkshake with vanilla ice cream, spiced streusel, mini marshmallows, holiday sprinkles, and a sugar cookie decorated like an ugly sweater on top.
That's a sugar coma.
Yeah, I mean, if you've had Toothsome milkshakes before, you pretty much know what to expect. It's a solid milkshake if you are not lactose intolerant like I am, and then in that case, it's terrifying. And I personally think that the most adorable new dessert item that John got us a picture of is the Florida snowman.
Yes.
Don't no one tell Olaf around about this. It's a snowman shaped dessert, but he's all melted into a little blob. He's got a white shell exterior, and then you cut into him, and he's got like a chocolate pudding filling. And it's just so cute and sad.
So cute. And it's just like for thematics, 10 out of 10. That is so cute. I love it. This is something I definitely want to try.
You can find that one over at the Croissant Moon Bakery, found near the front of Port of Entry in Islands of Adventure. And also at the Today Cafe in the studios, they've got a roasting chestnut Mont Blanc, which John also recommends, gives an honorable mention.
Yes, I will miss the savory toasty sandwiches, but maybe the Florida snowman makes up for it.
On the flip side, John has a word of warning. If you do not like dry cake, you might want to pass on the poinsettia cake over at Croissant Moon. It's got a raspberry and chocolate flavor, but you probably will need a big glass of milk to get down the actual cake. So, yeah. There's lots of other things to do at Universal through the holidays other than eat, of course. You've got Christmas in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter featuring the Nighttime Light Show and Meeting the Grinch. The holiday breakfast with the Grinch has completely sold out. So you might be looking at a multi-hour wait if you want to meet the Grinch in person. I recommend, if you have early entry, rope drop that line instead of Hagrid's. Hagrid's will have a shorter wait.
Really high. I mean, he is amazing. It's definitely worth it to meet him, but it's a long time.
Well, I am heading over there this afternoon as a media invite for the holiday VIP tour. Yes. So hopefully we will get to meet the Grinch today as well as see the Grinchmas show. And I am looking forward to it.
Yes, it's a wonderful tour. I love the holidays at Universal. And again, everything is included with your ticket. Obviously, the VIP tour and the Grinch breakfast are an upcharge, but the parade, the special entertainment, it's all in there.
And that runs daily through December 31st. All right, that is going to bring us to the end of our news in the queue. Before we jump into this week's main attraction, it's time to hear a word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at MEI-Travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction.
All right, for this week's main attraction, we are talking D23. Disney has announced events for the D23 official Disney fan club in 2025, which will include Destination D23 coming back to Orlando, but it will also include some pricing changes and structure changes for your membership.
Yes, when I read this, I was a little sad as a paid gold member. I didn't really read that they're switching the magazine from print to digital, and that is my favorite thing to get in the mail. I save all of them for my future theme park museum, and I may not continue my membership because of this. I love physical magazines, and
Yeah.
hurts.
Well, you are correct. If you are used to having the entry-level gold membership and receiving that physical copy of the D23 magazine, which I mean, it's nice paper stock. It's great photography.
Oh yeah,
It's a really
glossy. Yeah,
gorgeous,
nice
gorgeous
gloss.
collectible. I've got a shelf of them myself. But you will no longer get that with the new with the basic gold membership. You will get a digital version of it, so you will still be able to read it. But if you want the upgraded plan, if you will have to go up to the choice plan, which is going to be $100 a year in order to get the print edition, I believe.
Yes, very sad, but you know what? Things evolve. You know, a lot of magazines aren't anymore, so I guess we were lucky that we had it this long.
Yep. However, they do have some interesting choices for what your membership gift will be. They're so let's back up a little. I'm getting a little ahead of us. First, let's talk a little about the events that are going to be happening next year,
Yes.
starting with Destination D23, the 2025 edition of this fan convention, which is sort of like, it's not the full-blown D23 Expo like they have in California. It's not quite that overwhelming. I went to it when it was at the Contemporary, and it was a nice, manageable size. So if you want a taste of like the D23 Expo without quite that much overwhelming insanity, this is a
Chaos.
nice option. Yeah, chaos, that could be a good word. Yeah.
Sorry,
Uh,
it is.
the theme of Destination D23 for 2025 will be a journey around the worlds of Disney. We've got little artwork with Mickey Mouse and Carl's house from Up. They haven't announced specific programming other than they're going to have exclusive presentations from the archives and from the studios. But the difference is that this will not be back at the Contemporary. Instead, they are moving this to Coronado Springs. They have not released the ticketing information, but you can now reserve a room at the Springs as part of the reserved D23 block if you want to get ready for that event. That's going to happen August 29th through the 31st of 2025 here at Walt Disney World in Orlando.
Yeah, I think this is a great event if you never wanted to bite the bullet for D23 in Anaheim. I also think it's better that it's at Coronado instead of the Contemporary for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, the year it was at the Contemporary that I went, there was a lot of shuttling around in buses, having to park and then get transferred. And Coronado, it was built as a convention hotel, so I think it'll be much more convenient. Maybe not as close to the Magic Kingdom, so you won't be as tempted to leave in the middle of a boring session and go ride a ride. But that's probably better for the rest of us.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard enough to park at the Contemporary if you have reservations at California Grill. So it's like you still have to fight with them. So
Absolutely.
This is way better.
In addition to Destination D23, there's also going to be D23 member events, both actual events and virtual events. D23 Gold Theater are going to be a series of online virtual presentations. Some will be live and some will be pre-recorded. And some of the topics that are coming up are going to be a musical celebration of Richard Sherman, composer with his brother of so many classic Disney songs, a presentation on the 70 Years of Disneyland coffee table book that's coming out. And I love these. Becky Klein has done these before. Weird Disney, which is presentations from the archive of just strange stuff that they don't usually pull out. So
Yes,
those
and
will,
she is a delight.
yeah.
So I love whenever she's involved.
Yeah. And if you're out on the West Coast, or even if you aren't, it might be worth planning a trip for this. They will be debuting a Walt Disney's Los Angeles tour, which is a guided tour of locations of personal significance to Walt Disney throughout Southern California. And it will include a visit to his office at the Walt Disney Studios lot in Burbank. I got to do a tour of his office with D23 a few years ago. Amazing bucket list experience. Must do.
Same, honestly, that was worth it for membership alone. I
Mhm.
would do it every year. If
Yep.
the dates line up, it is incredible. And going to the store was really awesome. I bought way
Oh
too much
yeah.
stuff, but
I
that's
and I actually ran into Becky Klein inside the store. She was just shopping for
hilarious.
herself or something. I was like, "Oh, hi. Trying not to fanboy over you."
Yeah.
Um, in addition to those events, they're also going to be celebrating milestone anniversaries for some classic films this year. Emperor's New Groove is hitting 25. A Goofy movie, Toy Story, both celebrating their 30th. Home Alone celebrating its 35th. And Disneyland itself, of course,
Yay.
is hitting the big 70. So, the membership options start at $50. If you want to get basically the equivalent of the old membership, you're going to probably have to shell out $100 if you want to keep getting that print copy. But they do have, as I mentioned, some fun merchandise options this year. You can choose between a Spirit jersey, a gift pack with a hat and a backpack and a water bottle, a set of pins, or the one I would go with is probably the advanced copy of the new coffee table book and a replica of the plaque that says, "Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy," that sits above the entrance to Disneyland. I think
Yes,
that's the one I would probably go.
I am quite tickled that you can now pick your gift
Yeah.
because sometimes I just don't like it. This year it was like a mystery pack. I got like a Merlin figurine.
Mhm.
That's something I don't want. But now with some years it's really good. Last year it was really good. Year before, so I'm excited that you can now choose what you get as your gift.
And if you can't decide which of the 4 gifts you want, if you go for the premium pack, the top line $300 subscription, you get all 4. So
Oh gosh, there's so many options. Don't twist my
yeah.
arm.
And I apologize if I misspoke a little earlier. The print edition is going to be available for purchase through the DisneyStore.com for members who join or renew in 2025. So there would still be a way to purchase the print edition, but the subscribers themselves will, by default, only be getting the digital edition.
Yes.
It was a sad day when we here at Attractions Magazine stopped printing the physical
I know.
Attractions Magazine.
Yeah.
We're still Attractions Magazine in name and in spirit, but yeah, I come from the world of print, and I still like holding it in my hands.
I agree with you. And it's like since it's so few and far between when you do get a print piece these days, it's like I hold on to it and I'm like, God, I'm in print because it's not the same anymore. It's a bummer.
All right. Well, that will close out this week's main attraction. I want to take a minute and look back at some of the comments that you folks left us in the chat. Brian Sager. I'm sorry. We said hi to Brian Sager early before the show. He's heading back to Walt Disney. Enjoy your birthday weekend.
Yes, happy birthday. Have a great time. Enjoy the festival of holidays.
Jack Robinson, grew up, also known as the Lost Boy Jack, grew up going to Disneyland back in the 60s and
Jealous.
70s. I am very jealous. I did not make my first visit out to Disneyland until much later, so I wish I could have seen it back in those days. Hello to Sonia. Ryan Jones asking who we think will be at D23 in 2025. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Josh D'Amaro.
Yes.
Josh D'Amaro will be there.
Himself.
Nicholas wants to know if Rio 3 will be announced. I know Rio was a Blue Sky franchise that went with Fox, I believe, during the Fox purchase. I'm not aware of any plans to make another Rio film. Have you heard anything about that?
I have not, no, but I know that there is a feverish fandom for it. So maybe in the future.
That just about wraps up our comments here in the queue. But before we go, we want to thank our sponsors, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel again. I want to remind all of you, please give us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or please like and subscribe us here on YouTube. And be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com or search Attractions Magazine on your favorite social media platform. Carly, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Adventures by Carly and on X and TikTok at Carly Caramana. And sadly, I will not be here next week, but I am doing something very exciting. I am going on the preview sailing of the Disney Treasure. So usually the Wi-Fi is good. I'm going to try to post. I'm going to try to do everything, drink everything, everything. And then I will be back the following week, which I'm sure we're going to have a long episode. Be prepared because we're going to go over everything with the Disney Treasure. And then also we have a new hotel opening at Disney World, the Island Tower at Polynesian. I'll be staying there right after the cruise. So I'm very excited. This is like very special to me. It was always Polynesian is just so iconic and my favorite resort growing up. So I cannot wait to go there, stay there, and then share it with everyone.
Well, I will be stalking your socials for sure. Very jealous. I fully expect that they will be completely out of stock of all the souvenir cups at the Haunted Mansion bar by the time you leave.
Based on these cast member preview cruises right now, everyone seems to be scooping up the Mariner.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed that he is there.
Even there for your preview cruise. Craziness.
So who knows? I know that's my number one thing I want. If I don't get it, I won't be devastated, but my collection is waiting for a nice little sea captain. So
I cannot wait to hear all about it when you get back. In the meantime, you can find me at Skuberski or at The Unofficial Guides, and you can pick up copies of The Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando 2025 coming out this week. You'll receive your copy this week. Very glad that that's finally out. So
congrats. Be proud.
Well, until next week or next time for Carly, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.